To all of these men, I want to say that football is not just a game, but a way of life.
Lombardi hated prejudice. I mean, you say a racist word in his training camp, you were on the next bus.
Lionel gave me an engagement ring, but I couldn't wear it, and I had to hide it. And I couldn't tell anybody that I was engaged to him. At that point in time, it wasn't really legal for black and whites to marry. There was a player that had married interracially a couple years before Lionel and I were thinking about it. And he'd been blackballed from all of football. So Lionel wanted to know what Lombardi's reaction would be.
Vince called him in because he'd gotten complaints about Lionel importing this white girl to Green Bay. And then Lionel told him, he said that he wanted to marry her, but he was afraid of being blackballed.
And Lombardi told him, I don't care who you marry, as long as you play good football, you keep your nose clean. Lionel called me and said, wow, I walked out of there just like shaking my head thinking, oh my gosh. He said, yeah, I still have a job so we can get married.
When he came back from Vince, he came right to me and told me, he said, Vince told me Vicky and I can get married. He was happy as a lot.
He would always say, gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell you now is going to help you once you get out of the game, because once you start working in the world, you're going to have the same ingredients to make it. Self-pride, pride in performance, sacrifice, self-respect, respect for others, hard work. I love my father very dearly, but I don't think about my father every day, but I think about Coach Lombardi every day.
He would come out right past me, and he would slap me on my back, my shoulder, Fleming, and keep walking. And I would say, he touched me. He touched me. That was like the man touching you from the sky.
You know, we take quite a bit, but being grown men, we realize that's the only way he can get the best out of us. And as long as he does the same with Paul Hornung and Bart Starr, he sure is welcome to do it with me.
You knew what your body can do, and you knew what your mind would do, and it wouldn't give up in this critical instance.
He starts preaching. He starts saying, there'll be a game this year in the fourth quarter when you will be, because of your superior conditioning, you will be the champions.
He's very fiery in everything that he does, and I have been one player who especially have tried to stay out of that realm of where usually it irritates him most.
He just played us like a maestro.
Every play you're graded. In a grading system, if a guy blocks you and you get out of the block and you make the tackle for no gain, that's a 0. You did what you're supposed to do. Now, if he blocks you and you don't get out of the block, you stay blocked, that's a -2. He dogged people so much. When he gave you a compliment, even if it's just a little small one, you just took it and said, hey, he likes me. My dad always said, never let a white man pat your head. But Vince Lombardi, when he did something good, he walk up behind you, he hit the back here like this, behind your head like here. And I used to love it, man. I said, hey. He didn't pat you on the head, he hit you right in the back of the neck. It's kind of like his seal of approval.
Just to have the chance to play for him, that was the highlight of my whole career. I'm glad I had that experience. If I'd had it longer, it would have been cheating because it was easy.
He comes over the house and greeted him outside with a nice big hug and handshake, and we come inside to take him on a cook's tour of the home, and my wife said, Coach, none of this would have been possible without you. He gets up, tears are coming from his eyes, he goes across the room, gives my wife a great big hug, turns around, hugs me, and goes out the front door.
I was in the office looking at films, and he was coming down the hallway. And he looked terrible. And I said, Coach, are you okay? And he said, no, Sam. He said, I really feel sick. And I said, well, why don't you go see the team doctor? And he did.
Washington Redskins coach Vince Lombardi had a 2-foot section of his colon removed today after surgeons discovered a tumor during an exploratory operation.
I remember getting a call, follow-up, that the surgery wasn't successful and that he was terminal.
Every Green Bay Packer went to say goodbye to him. The Washington Redskins, the Giants. And once it all came out that the coach was going to die, those players flocked in there it was like, I have to say goodbye.
I go in and he said, I've been lying here thinking about this. American Football Conference runs a lot of 34 defense instead of the 4-3 defense in the NFC. And I'm going, here's a man that, it's just, I don't know how long he has to live. And he's sitting there thinking about ways to beat defenses.
It was 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening when I went into his room. He opened his eyes and looked at me, and I went over and took his hand and told him how much I appreciated our time together and that he'd had a great impact on my life. And I loved him for that.
I took the train down, and he was actually alone. He knew who I was, and he kind of laughed, and I squeezed his arm. And we talked about the weather or anything. What do you say? And I remember grabbing him by the arm, and as I was leaving, he looked at me and he said, Frank, it really hurts.
Second year, Ken Bowman, our starting center, got hurt, so I started every game, and we went to Super Bowl I. And at the time, I saw myself as a starter, and I couldn't believe that Coach Lombardi would put me on the expansion list, but he did. He got rid of me. Broke my heart. I blamed him. I had shot my mouth off publicly, which was just really unforgivable, stupid, arrogant. A couple of years later, he was on his deathbed, and Bob Long, a great teammate, called me and he said, you and I are going to go see Vince today. I said, no, you and I are not going to go do that, because he wouldn't let me in the room. I was really scared of Marie, his wife. I just didn't want to see him because I had been so unthoughtful. We got off that elevator, and Marie was standing there with Sonny Jurgensen. I'll never forget it. She greeted me like her long-lost son. Let's go see Vin. He wants to see you. I couldn't imagine that. So we walked in, and the great man was there. His body was wasted, but his eyes were the same. And shaking like a leaf, she kind of nudged me over there. His right arm was full of IVs, so I took his left hand and tried my best to choke out, I'm sorry. I said a lot of things, but I really came here today to tell you that you've meant a lot to my life. He never wavered. He grasped me, squeezed my hand. The eyes never changed. And he said, well, you can mean a lot to my life if you'll pray for me. Whew. I said I would, and I had to leave. So what did the great man do to the terrified kid? Changed my life. People who forgive you when you least deserve it make you respond. So once again, he forced me to respond. At his moment of truth, he passed the ultimate test, which is, in the Christian faith, to forgive everybody, especially the ones who least deserve it. And that was Bill Curry that day. So I have been forced to respond differently to just about everybody ever since then.
Mr. Vincent Lombardi, coach and executive vice president of the Washington Redskins, died at 7:12 a.m. today at Georgetown University Hospital.
I usually wake up in the morning listening to Paul Harvey, and I opened up my eyes, it was raining, and I heard still can't talk about this.
It is a gray day in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I heard Paul Harvey on the radio saying that the heavens were weeping in Green Bay because Vince Lombardi had passed away.
They said the town ran on Lombardi time, 15 minutes ahead of everywhere else. And elsewhere, in an era in which many sought to deify the common man, some of us continued to thrill to the accomplishments of the uncommon ones. Rockney, Leahy, Bud Wilkinson, Bear Bryant, and the incomparable Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi, in his uncompromising determination to be the best, could not alone inspire us all. Let that be his epitaph.
Said it was the first time I really shed a tear at a white funeral, see? And it didn't mean it derogatorily. I was just trying to say that this guy, even though he was white, he was like a father to me.
The saddest part of his death was his players. You could see the sadness inside of them. He was amazing. He really was amazing.
Somebody said he made football players out of some men, and he made men out of some football players. I think he's much more proud of the fact that he made some men out of football players.
People don't know Coach Lombardi, and they don't know who he is. They don't know anything about him. We know him, we understand him, and we love him. This is one beautiful man.
To all of these men, I want to say that football is not just a game, but a way of life. It's a game of courage.
Believe in each other, trust each other, pray for each other.
It's a game of sacrifice.
What would you sacrifice to get the win?
It's a game of self-denial.
Pray for your brother, man. Yes, sir. Pray for your brother tonight.
It's a game of dedication.
I need each and every one of you. Give me everything you got today.
And it's a game of love.
I love each and most of you guys.
It's a game of stamina. And it's a game of coordinated efficiency. Each man must contribute to the spirit of the team.
Hey, everybody just do your job. Everybody just do your job right here. Complementary football.
And it's this spirit, this cohesive force, which binds 11 hardened and talented men into an irresistible force. It's a game where the only satisfaction they receive is to be a part of the successful whole. It's a game which teaches us how to laugh, yet not forget how to weep. Each Sunday afternoon, after the battle, one group savors victory,
victory!
And the other lives with the bitterness of defeat. To the winner, there is 100% laughter, there is 100% fun, there is 100% elation. To the loser, no reason really is adequate enough for having lost. The only thing left is determination and resolution.
I will be back here. I will be back here.
It's a game which teaches us to be proud in defeat, yet humble and gentle in victory.
Hey, you're a legend, man. Congrats, man. You're amazing, man.
Yeah, let's keep in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Each week, there's a new encounter, and each year, there's a new challenge. Work and sacrifice and perseverance and competitive drive and selflessness is the price that each and every one must pay to achieve the goals that are worthwhile.
I love it. It's adversity. Come on.
Each man must make a personal commitment to excellence and to victory.
Hey, let's go right here. Let's go.
Even though ultimate victory cannot be reached.
That's a great thing about football. Every series you get another opportunity to be great.
Yet it still must be pursued with all of one's might and all of one's effort.
Either you won't be great or you won't be there.
The spirit, the will to win, the will to excel, these are the things that endure.
Brazilian, let's go. All night. Brazilian, let's get it. Let's go.
The quality of life is a full measure of a man's personal commitment to this excellence and to this victory, not only in football, but in every endeavor.
Yes, sir! Love you, mama. Yeah. Love you, wife. Yeah. Love you, grandma. Yeah. Love all y'all. Yeah.
This is what I believe football is all about. This is why it's a great game.
Great game for football. Yeah, always. Every day.